This is this Bodhisattva of compassion. She points to the inherent compassion that is basic to our true nature. She points to the wholeness, the livingness of the world and of life in the world. She indicates the non-separateness, the belongingness that we have. We all feel the strong need for. And it was in the spirit of this compassion, this life, this wholeness, that prompted me, which made me indeed write the book, The Origin of Human Nature, in order to counter this mechanistic, this materialistic view that is so widespread now, this idea that we're just products of accidents. So let me explain. In the Origin of Human Nature, a Zen Buddhist looks at evolution, I'm not trying to in any way refute Darwin's theory of evolution. In fact, it's far too beautiful a theory to want to do that. It has all the elegance and simplicity of a first-class theory. What I'm challenging is what Dawkins and people of his ilk have done with the ideas of this very courageous, very gentle man. They've drained all the life out of the works, and in the process they reduced us all to machines. I pick on Dawkins because he is the most persistent, relentless of these people. I have spent my life with the question, what is a human being? Inquiring into it from the perspective of Zen Buddhism, as well as from that of Western philosophy, psychology, and evolutionary science. Buddhism is a way, a practice. It has no dogmas or beliefs, it has no God or divinely inspired scriptures, it prescribes no rituals or ceremonies. Long practice of thinking the unthinkable, that is, of thinking beyond experience, enables us to think differently. We awaken to an entirely new way of looking at the world and at our place in it. I try to show what this means by looking at the origin and evolution of human nature. At one time I thought of using a subtitle for this work, Meditations on What It Means to Be Human. The questions, what am I, and by extension, what is a human being, are central issues of Zen practice. Dawkins teaches the neo-Darwinian theory. This is a materialistic, mechanistic theory that tells us that everything is derived from matter, and the evolution of life is no different to the evolution of matter. The end products are increasingly complex machines. But this theory does not solve the mystery of life, as Dawkins claims. It ignores it. Thinking over all the immensity of human nature and the marvel of the human mind, I cannot help wondering how so many intelligent men and women have accepted such a simplistic theory. How can anyone, let alone very intelligent and well-meaning scientists, willingly accept that a series of accidents accounts for the emergence of human genius? The genius exemplified by great artists, such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Picasso, the literary genius of Dostoevsky, Tolstoy and Shakespeare, the scientific genius of Einstein, Darwin and Niels Bohr, and also the musical genius of Bach, Beethoven and Mozart. We're living in troubled times, and there is, generally speaking, something of a feeling of despair and perhaps even hopelessness that's becoming all too pervasive. Professors who are teaching neo-Darwinianism as taught by people like Dawkins, painstakingly, dutifully, although perhaps unwittingly, take away from their students the very hope that is the essence of being human. And in this way, they also destroy compassion. Instead of seeing the world as a living, meaningful whole, the modern scientist sees it as a fractured and without meaning. Viktor Frankl, a psychologist who spent time in Auschwitz concentration camp, made the case that meaning is most valuable to a human being. He said those who are most likely to survive the horror of the concentration camps were those who had some reason to go on living. For example, Dawkins says that we're lumbering robots in the service of genes. The late Francis Crick, a Nobel Prize winner, declared, "You, your joys and your sorrows, your memories and your ambitions, your sense of personal identity and free will are in fact no more than a package of neurons." Steven Pinker, a would-be authority of the mind, tells us if you believe in a soul, then it's time you grew up and became an adult. A one-time leading scientist, Jacques Monod, opines, "We are pure accidents that might never well have been," while for the physicist Frank Tipler, we are but complicated computers, destined to be surpassed by other, more complicated computers. So what I want to do in the origin of human nature is to give a viable and reasonable alternative to the dead neo-Darwinian dogma. I want to show that evolution is intentional, intelligent, and creative. In fact, evolution is slow-motion creativity. The world is a whole. Cooperation as well as competition, love as well as conflict is necessary for the evolution of life.